if you are a Christian or any type of believer in anything,
Sure.
any religion, if you think I'm missing something, I want you to bring it to me. I want to know the truth about the nature of the universe. And if I'm wrong, I want to know that. So if I'm missing some argument or some piece of evidence that you have that you think I'm missing, I'm sincere
Well, then,
when I say bring it to me. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. There are many out there that are going to say we're going to hell anyway. Luckily, we don't believe in such superstitious bullshit, so I'm not terribly concerned about it.
Welcome to Two Gaming Dudes.
Click subscribe now, because many of you are not going to want to by the time we get to the end of this. This is a departure
Probably.
for us.
You know, every once in a while we're like, gosh, should we post that? That seems awfully offensive.
Yeah, we should.
This is where we're headed. This is what's happening.
I'm
right
not
now. So-
picking on Christians, all right? I'm not picking on Christians.
No.
I came out of Catholicism, so it's what I know. Okay?
It's fair.
You're Korean Pentecostal or Methodist?
My grandma was Baptist.
And you never gave a shit, right?
No.
And your mom was from the village, so she
My mom's Buddhist, so
had some
you know.
ancestral worship thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you never really cared.
No, not really. But mostly, I had questions.
Okay.
Every time I'd ask questions, it was
Shut up!
Yeah. So I didn't get to ever get any real answers.
Because much like in the movies that we watch, once you start peeling the layers a little bit, none of it makes any sense. Quick overview. In the operating room,
All right.
you have a team of people, and the conversations can get diverse. Because you have a lot of people, and they can range from the most hyper-educated people to, high school education and blue-collar.
Sure.
And everything in between.
Sure.
And the conversation sometimes is dumb fart jokes. But other times, depending on the combination of people in the room, it can be some very deep, very intelligent discussions on theology, history, science, literature, philosophy, you name it.
Anything to pass the time.
And somebody tried to toss religiosity at me, and I couldn't do it anymore. I can't, because my tolerance for bullshit is like 0. And we tried to come up with what is the single stupidest, most easily disprovable Bible story.
Oh,
And it came down to either Noah's flood or Tower of Babel.
I'm gonna go Tower of Babel. Let's do that one.
Well, it turns out I hadn't done any Bible study since I quit Sunday school, 20 years ago. I kind of linked them together. Because, God gets mad and he's going to kill all life on earth. And he starts a flood.
Okay.
And somebody very intelligent sat down and did the arithmetic. How much water would it take to flood the earth to the terms that the Bible tells us?
Okay.
The Bible tells us the highest peak on earth was submerged between 15 cubits of water, under 15 cubits of water.
Okay.
So somebody took the height of Mount Everest and figured how much water would it take to put it 22 feet, which is 15 cubits, underwater. It would take, imagine a dice,
Okay.
but each side of that dice is a mile long.
Okay.
It would take 250 billion of those. 250 billion cubic miles of rain to fall over 40 days.
Okay.
And then the water receded.
So what you're really talking about then is a several mile high tsunami, right? Just
No, you're talking about 4 times more water than there is on Earth.
Oh. Okay.
Where did it go? I don't know. It receded. Okay.
Okay.
Who was on Noah's Ark? Noah,
Noah, his family,
his wife,
right?
his 3 sons,
Okay.
and their wives. There's 8 people.
Okay.
And all of humanity is dead. And then those 8 people, I guess, had to replenish humanity. So you had 4 women, and I guess those 4 guys just shit out of those 4 women to repopulate humanity.
It's a good thing one of them married an Asian and one of them married a...
And they did it so hard that the Tower of Babel story takes place 150 years later.
Okay.
So you went from 8 people to a civilization big enough to build a city and a tower.
In 150 years.
Depending on what Christian scientist or what Christian scholar you use, given the most liberal birth rate available, there would have been 48 people available on Earth. 48 humans living at the time of the Tower of Babel. This isn't my numbers. This is Ken Ham, the guy that built the Noah's Ark Museum.
Oh.
48 humans are alive.
I'm trying to. I mean, obviously, I can't do math, so it seems low to me.
Many of whom are elderly, many of whom are children,
Sure.
all of whom are inbred so much that all the fucking genetic retardations are apparent. But they decided, we're going to build a city and a tower here.
Okay.
Which brings up, okay, so that's why I think they're linked. Because after the end of humanity and all living things on Earth, civilization is built enough to build this advanced structure with 48 humans.
150 years. All right.
150 years. The whole thing of Tower, it's 9 verses. The whole thing is 9 verses. I can read them all here, and I'll put them up. The world had one language and a common speech. I'm using the New King James, if you give a shit.
If you care.
As people moved eastward, they found the plain of Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Let's build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to heaven, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language, they were capable of doing this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Let's go down and confuse their language so they cannot understand each other anymore."
Why he gotta be a dick like that?
So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building their city. This is why the place is called Babel, because the Lord confused their language of the whole world. And the Lord scattered them all over the face of the earth. That's it.
That's it.
That's all of it.
That is the entire
That is all Genesis
story.
11.
That is the entire story of the Tower of Babel.
Yes.
Well, the story sucks.
So let's start picking that apart, shall we? If there are 48 people on Earth,
Right.
and just 150 years ago, all life on Earth has been destroyed, aren't you more worried about survival?
I would assume so.
Because all the plants are dead. All the fresh water on Earth has been mixed with salt water now. There's 48 of you. Most of you have genetic deformities because you fucked your sister. Or mom, or whatever.
So there's a...
And the animals that you let loose, most of them ate each other. Because they're starving too, you know. Explain marsupials in Australia, of course.
Yeah,
Basically, all of it points to, was this written by an all-powerful, all-knowing God, or by some Stone Age, Bronze Age hermit who lived in a cave, who didn't even understand what those little dots in the sky are? And so they start building this tower, and God gets pissed that we're working together and cooperating. He says, that's bullshit.
I don't like that.
Fuck you, humans!
I'm gonna go reach down there and...
What's the biggest, tallest structure humans built with primitive materials?
I don't know, the pyramids, I'm assuming,
Pyramids.
right?
The pyramids are stacked rocks.
Right.
Okay. What is the tallest building on Earth right now?
That would be the one in India,
It's in
Dubai.
The Burj Khalifa.
Yes, thank
It's like a quarter mile tall.
Yeah.
God doesn't give a shit about that one.
So was the Tower of Babel taller than that, you think?
I don't think you can build brick structures that tall. Or the Egyptians maybe would. On top of that, they're all speaking the same language. I can communicate to any human on Earth with this in perfect grammar and dictation. God doesn't give a shit about that either. So,
Why did he care about that one tower?
I don't know. I mean, to use the text itself, because these humans will be capable of anything if they cooperate. That makes you jealous? All-powerful, all-knowing governor of every atom in the universe? Humans are cooperating?
And that...
And that makes you mad because you're jealous and petty like a Bronze Age hermit who lives in a cave? So I say Tower of Babel is actually the stupidest story in the Bible and the most easily disproven.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something. Also, sorry, I gotta look something up because I'm really curious now. No, you're good. Hey, Google. How many languages are there in the world?
7,000 different languages.
7,000 different languages.
One.
So, there you go.
In this day and age, 7,000 living languages are spoken in the world.
Yes.
And they're all, virtually all of them,
Yes.
right
Right here on my phone. Yeah. I can get to practically all of them.
This doesn't even get into where did the water go.
Where did the water go? How did the plants survive?
I mean,
And then you also had all the animals on that boat too, didn't you? Like
Yeah.
you had 2 of every animal so
Yeah.
that they could reproduce.
yeah,
'Cause I'm sure.
yeah. I guess my point is not to mock or well, maybe it is. If you sincerely believe that the universe is 4,000, with everything we know today, you believe the universe is 4,000 years old, and life started with Adam and Eve and a talking snake.
4,000 years ago.
And because you believe that, you're going to tell me it's a sin to jerk off? No. Your beliefs deserve to be ridiculed.
Yeah.
Because you're either lying to yourself, you don't really believe it, or you're fucking spectacularly stupid. If that's the case, okay, maybe we shouldn't make fun of you, but...
Now, don't get me wrong. I have met some people who I've looked at, had conversation with, and then thought, wow, you need Jesus. But beyond that, I mean...
But what were you really thinking? Do they really need an invisible magical space Jew who is his own father? Who needs you to drink his blood and eat his flesh so he can forgive your sins? Because some woman ate an apple from a talking snake? What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, when you say it like that, I mean...
And the fucking response I always get was, well, what if you're wrong? Like, okay, well, what if you're wrong and the Hindus got it right? What if you're going to hell because you didn't pray to Namuhaba or Vishnu or Ganesh all these years? Well, I know I'm right. Well, the Hindus know they're right. Are you both right?
I'm going to take just a quote right from Bill Murray. If you're wrong, nothing happens. I'll go to hell, peacefully, quietly. I'll enjoy it.
There's another... I want to talk about the morality of God. This is you're going to use this book to get your morality from? The same God that told Moses, go slaughter the Ammonites, butcher the women and children, but keep the virgins for yourselves. Shut the fuck up, morality. Fucking blow me. Get the fuck out of here.
Boy, if anything needs a reboot.
You know, the greatest, of all people, I have to borrow this from Ricky Gervais.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy from The Office.
Right.
Imagine something happened and all human knowledge is lost.
Okay.
And we have to start from scratch. From scratch. 1,000 years from now, science would be exactly the same. Because the investigations would lead you to the same place. Where's that lightning coming from? Oh, wait a minute, I've noticed static electricity forming up in the clouds.
You would do the research and
All
the
the
science,
evidence,
and then you...
science would be exactly the same. We'd find the same genetic code. We'd find the same double helix. We'd find the same amino acid. Science would be the same. All the religions would be completely different.
Yeah. There was an anime, an old one. I remember a long time ago, and the first time I saw it, I didn't get it. I had to get older and then understand it better. It was called A Wind Named Amnesia.
I remember that. You tried to make me sit through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it boring.
It's a very different anime many years later. The premise was a wind blows over and everybody goes back to primitive. Like you've lost everything.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak, couldn't think, everything gone. You're back to a primitive man. Let's start all over and see what happens. And then there was one lady who was an alien and she was like watching all of this. And then one human who survived it somehow and he still had his sense about him. And they were talking and she says, it took you thousands of years to get out of the habit of sacrificing each other to gods.
Yeah.
It took you 5 years to go back to it.
Fuck. Yeah, it all comes from this primitive ignorance and fear. Why was there an earthquake? I don't know. We better sacrifice a baby to the great Ngorongoro that lives on top of the mountain. Okay. Oh, tectonic motion. Oh, shit. Okay, so we don't need human sacrifice anymore? No.
Dar has spoken and he wants your children.
I mean, from the beginning, none of it makes... God creates humans and tells them, these are the rules. Don't eat that fucking magic apple. And they break that rule like the first day. And God gets pissed. He's like, I'm going to smite you all with death. And then time passes and he's still pissed. He's still pissed. So he's going to flood the world and kill everyone. And God regrets. So I don't remember which verse it is. God regrets that he ever made humans and decides he's going to kill them all, except for Moses and his people. And he kills every human. And he's still pissed. So some time passes and he decides, I've got to send myself down there in the form of my son, but it's really just me. And I'm going to demand a blood sacrifice to myself. so that I can forgive you. And nobody in heaven said, hey, God, why don't you just forgive them? Well, my all-powerful hands are tied here. I need a blood sacrifice.
Look, I don't make the rules. I mean, I do, but...
You need a blood sacrifice of yourself to forgive us for breaking the rules that you put in place. You can't look me in the eye with a straight face and tell me that clearly wasn't written by some Bronze Age hermit who lives in a cave. If you told... If we went back to Scripture and I said, tell me everything you know about the nature of the universe, just from this book. Well, the universe the Earth is a 5,000-year-old disk, and there's a firmament and a dome, and there's two disks, the sun that comes out in the night and during the day, and it spins around the Earth, and then the moon comes out at night, and it spins around the Earth, and those little dots are stars, and sometimes those stars fall to Earth. Just the fact that you don't know what those fucking dots are, you don't understand that those are trillions of tons of hydrogen and helium going through nuclear fusion, and you think they fall to the Earth, shows that you don't know what the fuck you are talking about, and that this book is nonsensical bullshit written by superstitious morons.
See, you think that. I honestly believe that there's a far more sinister purpose behind it. And it was to get rich. It's to make money. It's always about making money. It's all marketing.
Two cavemen are sitting around, and there's a white disc at night. That white disc talked to me. It says you're supposed to give me half your bananas. Whoa. No, or else you better, or else you're going to roast in hell forever. Shit, all right, take the bananas.
Take the bananas then. All right, now that I've got your bananas, the white disc is happy.
That's what it...
Today.
That's what it morphed into.
Yes.
Originally, it was, oh my God, there's a lightning bolt, and it started a fire. It must be our fault. How did that come about? I don't know. Make something up. Faith is the excuse people use when they don't have an answer, but they desperately need to have an answer.
That's when you just default to, it's magic.
Invisible magic man in the sky. I don't know. By the way, we're playing this Jesus game.
I thought it was going to be a first-person shooter, but...
You're just walking around Judea doing miracles and stuff, I guess. I don't know. It's not really much of a video game. Did you find this on Steam?
Yes.
Why don't you just play some anime nudie game? Rather, whatever. I had to get this out because there was so much I wanted to say, and I didn't want to embarrass this poor person in the operating room.
That's fair. And our channel seems to be a pretty good place for just, venting and getting some of that shit out. By the way, if you ever want to do that, just toss it in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll turn it into a topic. We will vent for you.
I mean,
here on our channel.
There's a lot of Bible stuff that we could pick out. I mean, there's some hysterical shit. Who's the ancient general that demanded foreskins?
What?
God was like, I will help you defeat your enemies, but bring me the foreskins of all the dead soldiers. And the general's okay.
I guess.
And at the end of the battle, they had to go through.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you... God demands foreskins.
Yeah. Well, that might be my new favorite story, but...
I mean, we're not even getting into, who's the Hindu monkey god?
I don't know.
And again, we can't really do Islam, because, they won't like that.
No, we won't do that. We'll leave that alone. But you can make fun of Buddhists all day.
But it is a little weird that the Quran is the unerring word of God, and it was written down by an illiterate merchant that lived in the desert. Okay. Not just all the who wrote the Gospels? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We don't know. They're attributed to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John because that's Christian tradition. We don't know who actually wrote it, because the actual disciples were fucking fishermen. They were illiterate. Nothing was written down for hundreds of years after the fact.
Anyway. We told our story. I'm sure there are more. Would love some ideas, so toss them in the comments. If there's something that you would like us to do a little bit of research on and then vent for you.
And if you think I'm wrong...
Oh, yeah.
If you think I'm wrong, if I'm missing something, if you have some evidence that has escaped me, bring it. I'm open-minded enough. I'm just a man. I make mistakes too. If I missed something...
I want to make one thing very, very clear. Because I don't believe in spooks and specters and ghosts and goblins. I don't believe in the things that go bump in the night. I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I will not mess with a Ouija board. Because I feel like that's just tempting fate. I don't want to be proven wrong in that way. So I leave that alone.
Okay, well, I care. I care about what's true and what's not.
By all means, put some comments down there and let us know your thoughts.
If you are a Christian or any type of believer in anything, any religion, if you think I'm missing something, I want you to bring it to me. I want to know the truth about the nature of the universe. And if I'm wrong, I want to know that. So if I'm missing some argument or some piece of evidence that you have that you think I'm missing, I'm sincere when I say bring it to me. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. I don't think you can, because the brightest minds in human history have failed to come up with with any legit argument or evidence for the existence of anything supernatural.
Let alone you flat earthers.
But Jen from Alpena, Michigan, who got a C+ average in high school, she's got it all figured out. But I'm sincere. If I'm wrong, show me that I'm wrong.
By all means. Well, there you go. Don't forget, comment. And then like, share, subscribe.
This might get some down thumbs.
You think so?
I'm fine with that. It's okay.
You can make fun of the acolyte all day long, but as soon as you start talking about Jesus, it's over.
I love Jesus. Jesus is one of the greatest philosophical minds in all of human history. Right? The stuff that Jesus himself taught, whether he was a real man or just this accumulated, some people think it's actually pieced together from like 4 or 5 different guys at the time were kind of mashed together to make the story of Jesus. Or was it one guy? Or was it a bunch of guys just making up stories? It doesn't matter. The teachings were so ahead of their time. Even now, we still struggle to make sense of it, right?
Sure.
But Gandhi said, I have no problem with your Christ. I love your Christ. My problem is that so many of you Christians behave so unlike your Christ. It took a Hindu. It took a fucking Hindu to point out what we've been doing wrong all this time. So, there you have it.
I don't know. I really like the meme of the people around the dinner table saying, "Thank you, Jesus, for this food."
Oh, put it up.
And
It's one of my favorites ever.
And it's pronounced Jesus, and you're welcome.
Click subscribe, man.
We'll see
This
you.
is a whole new direction for us. I'm excited, man.
I'm willing to do this.
If our new role is to educate the world and bring sane back again, make normalcy normal again, let's do it, man. Let's air all our dirty laundry out. Fuck it.
Fair enough. We got no secrets. Catch you in another episode. Later.